seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of What's in the Box. I'm your host, DeathMetalHero, and with me is my homeboy, Joe M. Sonntag. What's up, brother? How you?
What is going on? I'm doing great, man. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but like I can hear my water from the dishwasher.
I was wondering what that was.
Can you hear that?
I did.
Yeah. That's the only thing about my spot here in the studio is like when the dishwasher runs, it goes right over my head.
Well, you know, that's a good microphone you got there. It's picking up everything, man.
It does, yeah. I might have to tweak the settings, but yeah, it's a good mic. Good mic.
That was an awesome trailer. I know most have seen that. You know, that's the initial trailer that you put out. Now, is that's your band in the background, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
It's one of our songs off the first album we ever put out. So,
okay.
Yeah,
I remember you sent me a link to that stuff. I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of a groovier Throwdown. Do you remember them?
Ooh. Oh, dude,
yeah, like the dude's vocals.
Yeah.
You know, your vocals. You're doing the vocals, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Throwdown was cool, man. They were like a kind of like a Pantera style band for the 2000s. You know, especially with the way the dude did his vocals.
But he was definitely going for that. Yeah.
They had great grooves though. But
definitely,
their first couple albums were great. Like they were a straight edge band too. Did you know that?
Yep, they were.
Yeah, like,
they were indeed, man.
They were absolutely straight edge, which more power to them. At the time, I was not. So, but their music was awesome.
Oh yeah, no, I very much enjoyed them. Just the first time I heard them, it's that was the feeling I got. It was definitely I don't know, very very. I mean, not the vocals was very what's his name from Pantera?
Phil Anselmo.
Phil, yeah, it was definitely Phil.
Well, definitely with like Holy Roller when they did that was an awesome song on what was it, that first album or second album? Throwdowns. I'm not sure, but the Holy Roller song that was just like straight Phil Anselmo. Did a great job though. I mean, it sounded awesome.
Yep, he inspired quite a few vocalists.
Oh, he inspired me. Like Phil was one of my favorites. When I was developing my style, like I was in love with Phil's style because it was hard, it was aggressive, but it wasn't like over the top screaming. It was like it was aggressive singing. Yeah. And I really dug that. And then I got a lot into Randy Blythe.
I love.
I started adding in stuff that he would do into my style. And there were a couple other guys too. I mean, there was a ton of people that I drew from when I was developing my style, but Phil was definitely number one. Randy was definitely number two. And then there was a bunch of other people that I just try to fit in things here or there. If I could get it with my range, if I could get it with my technique, I'd be like, fuck, that sounds good. I'm gonna put it in,
right. Yeah. I mean, I kind of just mimic, or at least do my version of,
you got a good voice, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I've been
absolutely
been screaming for a while. I mean, my dad was a musician. He was a guitar player, bass player, drummer, vocalist, lyricist. I mean,
that's awesome.
Do it all. Yeah,
that's awesome.
One of the things that kind of drove me into metal, though, was like, I'd be trying to sing his stuff, and he was very much into like his, 80s hair rock and stuff like
that. There you go.
70s rock and whatnot. And, he'd be like, you're awful, don't sing. So I was like, fine. I won't sing. I'll scream and I'll growl.
There you go.
You know, fuck that.
Yeah,
So,
couldn't hit
yeah.
those like 80s notes, you know, like
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I could do that. Like I could hit a high note, but like the mid-range stuff that they're doing with the melody and stuff, I cannot do that. It's not my vocal range.
That's where the real like, you know, test of your vocal cords comes in, trying to hold that. You know, like it's a vocal workout, man. Like you remember the Transformers soundtrack from back in the 80s? Like the animated Transformers movie?
I don't remember it.
There's some cream of the crop like 80s stuff on there. Like NRG, Instruments of Destruction, to me is like primo like 80s. Like if you're gonna go 80s hair metal, like that's pretty great. I mean, I don't really know much about them outside of that song,
right?
But it is like, I don't know, peak that style for me.
You know, I like me some hair metal every once in a while, some 80s metal. You know, like there's some good stuff from that era. You know, most of it I could do without. I mean, there is definitely some inspiring. There's some talented people in that era. You know, it's just a style of music.
Of course.
That, you know, like the way that the industry was promoting heavy metal. You know, if that's what you want to call it at that time, was, you know, making guys look like girls, because that's what the girls liked in the 80s. They really, you know, talking to girls I know or women I knew that grew up in the 80s or were teenagers, loved the lead singers in those bands, you know, with the makeup on and stuff like that. Like it was very attractive to them. I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know, like, oh, whatever. I guess somebody had their fingers in the market and knew what was going on, because those glam bands, they sold a lot of records.
Right. We should say hi to the chat. We've just kind of been chatting along here. What's going on, Shadowhawk? And we've got a flying feline. Hello, my favorite troublemaker.
What's going on?
Welcome, everybody. Hey, Joe, did you start shipping the silver ash cans yet? Shadowhawk wants to know.
I did not. So that's running until the 28th, and then it's going to go to print. And then whenever I get it back, I will start shipping it out. So hopefully towards the middle or end of March is when we will be shipping those out. Getting close, though.
Excellent. I see you answered in the chat here. So you're on top of the chat. What's up, Ms. Good Stuff? Thank you for coming to hang out. Appreciate you being here. Let's see who else we got in the chat here. Oh, we got a Mr. Good Stuff as well.
There he is. What's going on, brother?
Bullshit. What's bullshit? Probably something I said.
Something about probably the glam metal. I would imagine. I'm not backing it up and saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that's what I've heard.
Preferred the freaks. See?
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Then it certainly explains why she's hanging out with me. Oh, hell. So, Reaper Destroyer, man. I know that you've been working on this story for a while, and this is kind of a unique situation here, because you did an Ashcan before actually doing the campaign.
I did.
Using the Ashcan, what they are initially used for.
Yeah, back in the 90s, Ashcans were the thing. You know, you go to cons and you'd see these tiny little booklets, usually black and white previews of a book that was coming out within a couple months or whatever. Yeah. And it was always good for collectibles, you know. And
absolutely,
that was a good way to just get a preview of your story out, you know. And when I was in my early 20s, originally trying to break into the industry, I would do the whole, the old school way, going to the conventions and showing your work and, trying to get picked up that way. And then I was like, I'm just going to start doing my own book, try to get into the indie scene, because I spent a lot of time in Artist Alley. And in Artist Alley, you see a lot of independent creators and you get to see their books. And I would be impressed by a lot of them. I'd be like, wow, these are actually, I'm surprised at the quality you can get, being independent. So I decided to do that back then with a book I had, or a concept I had, called Reaper Destroyer. At that time, it was 2 E's. It wasn't with the EA. I ended up updating that a little bit so people wouldn't think I was illiterate.
Well, you can't go around and explain to everybody,
You see, I thought it was cool, and coming from, because I've always been involved in music too throughout my teenage years. So, in bands I knew, you would flip a letter backwards, and you do all this kind of stuff to make it unique. And I was like, Reaper would be unique with 2 E's instead of A, and you could still pronounce it Reaper Destroyer. So I never got an issue with it until I started to bring it back out in current day. And I remember a couple people were like, did you mean to spell it that way? Like I kept getting this question over and over again. And I did get tired of saying like, yeah, I'm spelling it this way on purpose. And one dude on Facebook, when I was still posting stuff on Facebook regularly, actually attacked me for it. Because he was like, dude, you can't do that. People are going to think you're illiterate. Yeah, he's like, that's horrible. And like, I'm just like, damn, dude. Like, all right, well, he's like, fuck that. It's like, I'll just put an A in there. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, I just ended up changing it to an A.
No
so it's like tiny little shit like that, I guess. I don't know. But
what's up, 24 Eyes? Welcome.
Hey, what's going on, 24?
Welcome.
But yeah, like, I decided to make an Ashcan. And the reason why I did an Ashcan, because I wanted to get out to the con scene, but I didn't have the book fully done. So, one of the guys I was working with at the time brought up the idea of why don't you just put out like a preview book, Ashcan. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Let's do that. So I actually put out a 12-page preview book with a couple pinups and stuff in it back in 2007, and went to, yeah, man, right?
I mean, 2007 was when I was doing Last Wednesday. Like we were in full swing for that. So that's
no shit.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, tell me more.
Yeah, so I hooked up with a MySpace, right?
Yeah,
MySpace was big back then. So I was in all these communities, like the comic communities, art communities, all that kind of stuff. And I came across an inker that I really liked. His name was Bruce Walker, and he was the brother-in-law of Sean Aaron, who is my co-host on Odd Stuff. And that's kind of how I met Sean, because I hooked up with him and we started talking. He was like, I like your style. And I was like, I need an inker. So we hooked up and did that. And I found this really nice colorist that was an indie guy going way back. He was probably about 10 years older than me. Mm-hmm. So he had a lot more experience than I had with just everything. Because I was going into a lot of this blind. It was the first thing. Like I charged it into it without really knowing what the hell I was doing. It's basically
Leroy.
It's basically what it was. That's exactly what it is. So through his help, he really got it together. He actually knew stuff about Photoshop and like putting files together, which I had no idea about. So like I basically sent him everything, and he, for free. This was back before you would charge anything. It was just like, let's get together and see if we can make something work.
Right.
And he did like all this work for free and got the thing set up. And to show you what I didn't know about printing, I went to the local Kinko's to get my book printed, because I didn't know about big printers, wherever you could send your files. So they did a great job. They had no idea what the hell it was when I brought it into them. They're like, what is this for? I was like, it's a comic book. And they're like, how do you want this printed? And I'm just like, just goes in a book. Book. Like I need it printed out so it can go this way or that way. It was a crazy ordeal to get. Like it was such a pain in the ass headache.
I bet. God, it's given me kind of a little bit of anxiety. I mean, as a graphic designer, like I went to school for graphic design. I'm like, oh God, not knowing all that and then trying to figure it out like that. Yeah. Oh shit.
Well, and put this. All right. So check this out too. Like I had already reserved a spot at Wizard World 2007 in Chicago. I had reserved a spot, bought the table, everything. And I didn't have the book put together or printed. And we're going into the last week of getting stuff ready to go to the show. So everything was crazy last minute. Because again, like I said, like I didn't really know, what to do. I'm just going in blind thinking, blah, blah, blah. It's going to all fall into place. So it was just like straight, like, hustling my ass off to get things done just last minute. So I could just get books printed. I think I only got like 50 printed so I could just go to the show.
Right.
And I ended up doing that. Like, I think the day before I got the books, like they were done, they're printed, and I picked them up the day before and then went down. It was a fun show. I sold almost all of them when I was there. So that was a fun feeling.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. That was a great feeling. Like we sold them for $5, I think.
Yeah.
And, but it was really cool. Like that was like my first kind of venture into doing that, to becoming like a creator, and I loved it. I was very motivated leaving that convention. That was, I started working on pages. I think there was like 5 more pages I did. And then shit happened in my personal life, just like really fell apart like real fast. And it just kind of pushed me in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And, I was not in a good place mentally at that time in my life. So, I kind of drifted away from art, from comics, from everything, just kind of basically dropped it and just went out and, drowned my sorrows and whatever I could figure out what to do. And that kind of led me back into music. But it was always kind of, Dude, you know, as much as, you know, I loved the time I did in music. I spent about 10 years doing what I did, and it was great. You know, we got to tour, met a bunch of people, played some fantastic shows, had some great memories made. I don't regret it, but there are some times like I wish, hey, what's going on? There are some times like if I never did that, where would I be? You know, like if I kept on going, where could I have been in comics? You know, it's just it's one of those things you're always going to think about. But again, I don't regret the life I went into music. But what was kind of cool is every once in a while I meet people that like comic books, and so every once in a while, like, well, you know, I made a comic once, you know, and they'd be like, oh, really cool, and I'd show it to them, and they're like, oh, wow, this is really, you know, really cool, and I was like, yeah, one day, you know, when I'm really old, I'm gonna go back to drawing comics again.
One day. Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that one day. You know, I hear that one day all the time up here, and I'm just like, no, one day is 2 day.
Well, you know, at the time I was fully invested in music. I thought I was going to be doing that for, you know, until I was like 50 or something. Yeah, I first saw myself doing like 20 years of music, you know.
Sure.
And it just, when it ended, and, you know, ended for different reasons. But I knew that I was going to fall back into doing comics again, because drawing was always my first love. It was drawing and then music. And so when I got back into doing comics, it was awesome. Then, you know, I found this thing called Comicsgate and a bunch of other stuff, and, you know, decided to actually get off my ass and create my book. And Sean was very adamant that I bring back Reaper Destroyer, because I was working with a different concept as well. Like I had this other concept I was working on, which I do want to do one day. But he's like, dude, he's like, I'm telling you, he's like, go back to Reaper Destroyer, dust it off, and bring it back. So I'm glad I did, because I spent about 2 years redesigning the costume, you know, redesigning the story, you know, just tweaking stuff. Because back in the day, like I had a story, but I didn't have like a story. You know, 'cause again, I was new.
You had the bones of a story. You didn't have a story.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had to just bring it all together, you know, and so I wanted to spend a lot of time doing that. So I actually had something that made sense and was interesting, and what I thought would be kind of unique for, you know, today's time, you know. And hopefully I did that. We'll see when the actual book drops and people get to read it. But
I'm very excited to go ahead and jump into this.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a Cy in the chat. What's up, Cy?
Hey, Cy.
How you doing? Thanks for coming to hang out. And good stuff. I feel you. I
well, okay, yes, I agree with that.
Boobs were my first love.
Yeah, we'll move that up to the top. I agree. Still are.
All right, where is my knife? There's my knife. All right, and we're gonna switch the camera. If I can find the mouse. There. No. Okay. Well. All right. Look at this. Look at this. I knew exactly who this came from as soon as I got it. As soon as I opened the P.O. box, I was like, oh, this is from Joe.
Brand,
I now need to contact Joe so I can get him to come hang out. You know? Thank you, Joe. That makes it much easier. Sometimes I get these boxes and I'm like,
like, who's it from?
Now, who the fuck is this?
Yep, I do that too.
Is it coming from a fulfillment facility? Because I do not recognize that state in relation to anybody I back.
Oh, shit,
Fuck. Yeah. So, all right.
That was another cool thing. Just getting to know the whole process of fulfillment, right? So, like, I talked to a ton of people, and just knowing stuff like getting custom shipping tape made, you know?
Right.
So I was like, well, I want to make sure that the package looks cool when it gets there.
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm tempted to try to peel this off.
You can peel it off. There's actual tape underneath it, because I wasn't going to trust just that.
Right. that is wise. That is very wise.
It's more for just the aesthetic look of it, you know.
Right. All right. So,
because the way that tape's made, it actually comes dry, and you have to wet it and then put it onto the box. I didn't like that.
You know what?
At all.
That makes a lot of sense. Actually.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like I don't like it. The process is a pain in the ass, but it makes the package look better.
Right. Uh-huh. Toward me.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Good stuff says you have a nice package, Joe.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I've been told that once or twice. What?
Just once or twice.
Just once or twice.
I love these Gemini mailers.
You know what's funny is it took me a second to figure out how to actually fold them so you could put a book in them. But once I did it, it was pretty damn easy. But they come flat, so you got to make sure you twist them all up right. But they're good.
Yeah.
They are good. Although, you know, I will say this, like there was 3 books that I sent out that actually came damaged to people. I don't know how it happened and why, but I only got 3. And from now on, I'm going to be sending things in bubble wrap. So that's one thing I did learn on the whole fulfillment. So next time around is going to be bubble wrapped.
Look at that. Oh, I got to turn the green screen off. Hang on. Because it's totally ruining the effect.
Oh, yeah. That green screen. A superior package. Absolutely. Yeah. I'd have kind of a cocky name for the label, you know? I was like, what's a good... Well, technically, my wife came up with it because we live in Michigan. You got all the Great Lakes around us. And she's like, you know, what about superior? And I was like, I like it because it could have a bunch of different meanings.
Oh, yeah. Man, look at that shiny. Oh, it's like I have a bunch of hologram cards from back in the day, like the chase cards. And this reminds me of an oversized hologram chase card from like that awesome new card set that just dropped.
Oh, yeah. You know,
dude, that's fucking gorgeous.
I gotta say, like, I ripped it off. Like, the idea I rip off from Sean's got all the good ideas.
Credit where credit's due.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
I want to give a shout out to him because he had the idea
100%.
of foil with his Ashcan. And I was like, fuck, I'm gonna do the same thing, man.
Look at that.
You got a nice magnet, you know, fill up on the fridge. You can hang some important documents or something.
Oh, it's going to go on the arm here. On the arm for the camera here. I've got my Incredible Comics magnet. I've got the root hand from Bancroft. So Reaper Destroyer will go right up here. Got a spot for it, man. Dude, the book is it's pretty.
And a lot of that is from Sean and my love of the 90s, right? You know, like the gimmick covers of the 90s. That's one of the things I like that Ethan does with his books, with the holochrome or the chromium covers, you know, like that. Just nostalgia, right? It puts me right back into that mode of like awesome books back in the day.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes a spectacle of the book. I mean, granted, you can't do that all the time because then you know, the spectacle becomes nothing.
Exactly.
But you know, it makes a spectacle of the book. Oh, look at the shiny.
Yeah, it was definitely something we wanted to do with the Ashcans, just to kind of make them a little bit more special. So definitely be like collectibles, you know.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, they came out looking great. Like, a shout out to the printers that did it, Heroes and Villains. They're a small printer, but they do a great job.
Love it, man. Look at those. Look at the edges. Look how clean.
Yeah, I was highly impressed. Highly impressed when I got them shipped to me. I looked at it. I don't think I found a single one that had a defect, and that's what was cool about it. The only ones, like I said, that got damaged were a couple of them got damaged in shipping. Right.
Yeah. Sometimes I mean, I've seen this working at the shop too. If the book isn't secured properly when they ship it, I mean, they'll take a book, a full size book, they'll put it you know, in like this that fine kind of bubbly paper type stuff, that really thin stuff.
Yeah.
Then they'll put it in a Gemini. Then they will wrap that Gemini in like this giant bubble wrap, and then they will put that in more bubble wrap, and then they will put that in a box, and they will ship that.
That's secure.
Yes,
that would be secure.
Except when you're in a hurry and you toss it in the Gemini mailer and it slides over, and you fold the Gemini on the comic book, bending the fucking comic book before you send it out. So yeah. I mean, that has happened more than a few times, and every time it does, it makes me laugh because, you know, there's all this extra padding. Yeah, it's secure, but, you know, you broke its leg when you threw it in the box, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, that cover is great, man. All right, let me get the printout before we dive into the book here.
And so so that's a gold foil And what we're doing right now is a silver foil. So it's going to be the same thing. It's just got a silver tint instead of the gold tint. But I went with the gold tint originally because the color palette on the book I thought would work real well with a gold foil.
Right. I don't know, man. I mean, his color palette, I can see that. But, I mean, I can also see silver, you know, especially, like, this print. Like, if you were doing, like, a silver of this, that would be fucking dope.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to Shelby Robertson because he did the colors on this print.
Damn, Shelby.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park.
I'm gonna hit him up and pester him for some tips and tricks and secrets.
Dude, he's a fucking talented dude, man. Talented dude.
Oh yeah, he is.
This was just a sketch I had drawn on. We did a sketch and stuff show, which we haven't done for a while on art stuff, but we got a bunch of people on. You've been on it before. We do some drawing. This was one of the ones I drew on one of those shows, and
nice.
I actually did a giveaway on our anniversary show, and I think Amanda B got that for free. And I sent Shelby the file. I was like, hey, I want to use this as a print. I was like, would you be willing to color it? And he sent that back, you know, after we had talked some stuff. And I was like, damn. I was like, yes. Yeah, I was going to save it for the campaign, but I was like, I want to do something a little bit more special for the Ashcan as well. So I chose to do it for the Ashcan. I'm glad I did because it came out great. Looks good with it.
Oh yeah, man. That's great. That's beautiful. You know, and I love the fact that this was just, you know, this was just a little, this is like the definition of grassroots, ladies and gentlemen. Like this is, you know, not on a site. Like this is, you know, yep, hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is like literally going around to a convention and you just happen to see this dude that has this bitchin' little Ashcan, that has this fucking gorgeous artwork inside, and you're like, oh fuck, what is that? That is the beauty of this indie scene. This is literally the essence of the indie scene right here. You know,
yeah.
What I mean?
Again, I got to give it to Sean because that was his whole idea. Like he wanted to do something. This stemmed from his. You know, he would go to cons all the time and sell his work. You know, and he would have art books of his, sketchbooks that he would sell.
See?
And anybody that didn't buy it at the con, this was his way of getting to people that, you know, got in contact with him at the con. So this all kind of stems from the convention floor, so to speak.
Yeah. Yep. He knows what he's talking about. And by the way, I see all of you in the chat. I'm over here like, you know, actually talking about a comic book, and none of you are paying any fucking attention. Except for maybe Wookie.
A lot of sexual tension. What's going on, Wookie?
What's going on, Wookie? Good to see you, man. Yeah. I'll deal with you later. Trouble.
I love it.
When is it not? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. These pages are absolutely gorgeous. I am very much looking forward to diving in and reading this. As a matter of fact, I've got this and the rest of the Embrace that I wanna sit down and read.
Oh yeah,
man.
Two of the dark heroes of Comicsgate.
Yeah, man. I love it. See, and this was the thing about Ashcans is that they're short. They're just a tiny little taste of, you know, what's to come. Look at that.
Got a pin up there by Shelby Robertson.
Gorgeous. Wow.
Yo, he actually just did that for me one day as a surprise because he was just doing sketches. And he sent this to me. I was like, hey, check this out. And I was like, dude, I fucking love that. I was like, can I put that in the Ashcan? And he was like, yeah, go for it. And I was like, thank you. Like, that's just sick.
And then you got an ad for Sean's book here. That's awesome. Now he's doing an Ashcan as well, right?
Yeah, so he did his first Ashcan first, and then I did mine second. Now he's doing a variant cover campaign with Marat Michaels, Extreme Studios artist, you know, and a bunch of other stuff.
I love Marat.
Yeah. So he's got a cover with Marat on there that he's doing, and I'm doing my second campaign, which is basically just a silver foil. So we kind of had, well, he was always going to do 2 campaigns. I was originally just going to do one, but I decided to do another one when people started asking after the campaign was over. I got so many people saying like, hey, is this still available? So I was like, all right, let's do a second chance just to get it out there. So whoever can get it or whoever wants it can get it.
Oh man. Listen, y'all, I'm hoping that listen, you guys need to get in on this second printing. Look at this cool shit in here. dude, I love seeing stuff like this, like the pencil sketches and like the costume designing and whatnot. Very very Azrael
Yeah.
right here.
So the funny thing about that one is there is an aspect of the story which I'm not going to really go into that calls for a
Right.
sword to be involved in it, and we'll see that
Gotcha.
later on down the line. But I wanted to put that in because, like I said, I went through a lot of redesigns with this character. Originally, he had a trench coat on. He always had the ripped, tattered, shredded look, but originally it was like a trench coat,
Right.
and not like this cape. But when I was retooling the story, when I started thinking about it, I completely did something different with the story. And I was just like, it doesn't make sense for him to have a trench coat anymore. It just doesn't. Like, I cannot write it into the story. Like, why would he be wearing this thing? But I wanted to keep the look. I wanted to keep the hood. So I ended up, going with the cape and the hood. And I was just like, it might look similar to certain characters like Moon Knight or whatever, but I'm just gonna. It works for the story, so I'm gonna go with it. But yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to redesign it and make it a little bit more unique than your typical hooded character you would see today.
Absolutely, gotta get that silhouette, that character silhouette. Like if you block that out, you could tell who that was.
Yeah, and this page was a straight throwback, tip of the cap to my 90s influence. Because I was like, I want a real 90s style pose. Like that. I just wanted, something you would see like in the 90s. I'm going to do that throughout the book. You're going to see, if you grew up in the 90s and you read comics in the 90s, you're going to see stuff in this book that's going to be like a tip of the cap to the people that came before me, whether it's like a pose like that, or like a certain kind of layout or something like that. It's just me, the guys I follow and loved will probably never read the book, but it's still my just kind of like honoring that aspect of the industry.
Oh yeah, honoring what's come before, like what where your influences come from.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh. You should be. I mean, if you could have seen my face when I was saying all that, the grin. I forget that I had to switch the camera so you can't see me see me smiling while I say that. What's up, Carrie? Welcome. Thanks for coming to hang out. What's up, Dojo? Thank you for coming to hang out.
What's up, guys?
24 Eyes says he loves the cover, but I only want to touch it with gloves on. Yeah, I'm being real careful, and I'm kind of just like sitting it right now, balancing it very gingerly.
Which, by the way, you're the first one to touch that cover since whoever did the printing, because I did everything in gloves so that I could not put fingerprints on it or anything. So
you're a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Wookie says, I shared out the stream, and when I came back, that thumbnail, damn. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's some fire artwork from our boy Joe here. He's been working hard on this. So, I've obviously, you fulfilled the first, the first little campaign. So you're doing the second printing right now.
Yep.
And I know you said earlier, so when is it again that you're going to cut that off?
Next Monday, so February 28th. I just wanted to run it the month of February. I wasn't running it as long as I ran the first one, because honestly, I wasn't pushing it as hard. Because one thing I didn't want to do, like this, when I ran the first campaign, I said a lot on live streams that this was the only time it was going to be run. It was the only time it was going to be printed. Get it now, or miss out. And I had so many people wanting another one that I decided to do a second one, but I wasn't going to push it as hard. And I tried to make it known too that this wasn't to get everybody's money again, because it's the exact same Ashcan. It's just a silver foil instead of the gold foil. I was like, so you don't feel like you need to spend more money on it because you're not missing out on anything. It's not a brand new cover. It's not this. It's not that.
It's literally just a different kind of foil.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And I wanted to make it a different foil because I wanted to make sure that the people that backed me the first time, I wanted them to know that, like, how much I cared about the fact that they did that, and I didn't want that to be available again. So, like, that was done.
100%. That way they have something unique to that first run. You know,
Exactly.
I agree with that. And see, when it comes to like second printings, I'm okay with variant covers. Like for a second printing, it makes it unique. You know, the silver foil will make that second print run unique. You know, I want one just because I'm a big fan of silver. Like I like silver more than gold. But yeah, you know, I want to have one in my collection, man. And I want one for the shop, you know. I guarantee I put it up in the shop, it'll sell. I mean, I've sold 3 copies of Jason's Absolute book
nice.
1. Yeah.
Nice. That's
I
awesome.
sold a copy of Monster MD. So I mean, you know, the books, the quality speaks for themselves. I just show the books and say, "Hey, I've read this one. I enjoyed it, you know, whatever. I know the person that made it. This is an indie book." And you know, people resonate with it. You know what I mean?
Like real comic fans, you know, like that's the thing I like about real comic fans.
Yeah.
You know, not the political aspect of the comic book world, but people that just like good stories, good art,
comics,
you know, like
man.
they'll like anything. It doesn't have to have Marvel or DC or Image on it. Like it doesn't matter who's making it, as long as it looks appealing, somebody's gonna pick it up. I mean, I do the same thing, you know.
Good story, man. That's what we're here for. We're here for good story. We're here for entertainment. You know. I love that little magnet. It's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, I was actually that came out pretty well. Like I was thinking about going with a bigger one, but I decided to go with that size just to see how, because they had like different size magnets you could buy.
Right.
And I was like, well, let's just go with this one to see how it turned out. And it actually turned out pretty good.
Yeah, man, that's great. Yeah, it's definitely gonna fit. It's gonna fit perfectly right up here on the microphone arm. Ha! That's awesome.
Hell yeah!
I'll have to see if I can. I'll have to take a picture of it and post it. But let's see. Any questions out there for Joe?
Yeah, if you guys got any, shoot them.
What do they got to do to get in on this? I know that's where I was going with this.
So this is unique, like Luke said. This isn't an IGG, but I do want to let everyone know the actual campaign that's launching on the 29th of April on Bancroft Show will be an IGG. But this is just a straight to my DMs kind of campaign, if that's what you want to call it. Like if you're interested and you want it, DM me on any of the social media that you can find me on. And it's $20 free shipping in the United States or any, like Sean says, any U.S. dominated area. And you'll get the Ashcan. It's the silver edition, so it's going to be exactly like this, except a silver foil edition. And it's the first 6 pages of script, black and white. And as you saw, it's got character sketches. And then you get into a section, it's got character bios and a breakdown of the history of the book. And I put a lot into that so that if you do plan on backing the campaign, if you get the Ashcan, there's going to be a lot in there to actually read and know what the world is. So instead of me going out on all these streams and going in depth in the story, I want to try to keep it, you know, as a kind of a, you know, a thing for people to get this Ashcan. So if you get the Ashcan, you'll be a lot more up on everything by the time the campaign actually hits, and then I actually start talking about the story. But yeah, so I mean that's basically, it's very simple, very simple. You go on a reservation list. I'm going to send the files to the printer early March, and then usually it takes maybe like a week, 2 weeks for them to get back because they have a pretty quick turnaround time, and it's not like a giant order. So I'm hopefully getting these out like end of March or so, and then amping up and ramping up for the actual campaign in April. But yeah, it's simple, guys. Very simple. It's through PayPal. Make sure you send your address, and if you want it signed, and that's basically about it. I have to say, I like doing this. It's been fun because I get to meet a lot of people and talk to a lot of people in the DMs because there are conversations that happen. It's not just like, hey, I want a copy. Here you go. You know, there are times we'll spark up conversation. We'll talk about whatever. You know, it's a cool way to meet a lot of people too.
Start talking about, you know, art and comics and shit, you know, like fucking nerds do.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Start talking about the cool shit that you're excited about. Hell yeah, man. That is awesome.
And I also have to say, like, as far as this book goes, I am putting everything I can into the book to make it as industry standard as you could get. I chased down some of the finest talent I could find to be working with me. You know, I've got Joe Weems and Matt Bat Banning who were top cow inkers for years, working with Silvestri, Finch, Turner, all those guys, you know, still doing stuff in the industry today, working with me, bringing this book out. So I got some crazy talent there. I've got some really awesome colors on the book. And then Mark Polton has helped me out with the story and helped me with scripting, just so I can have a writer, you know, experienced writer in my ear. And he's also editing the book. So yeah, I'm doing everything I can. So if you saw this book sitting on the shelf right next to Marvel DC Image, it would just fit right in. Like everything, the quality of it, the art, and everything would just be boom right there. So that is my whole goal.
Snatch them eyes, you know, grab them eyes out of your head.
Absolutely.
Yep. Great stories, great artwork. That's what we're looking for. That's right, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Let's see. We share this picture here. Yeah. Share. Well, that did not
there you go.
Quite as well as I had hoped. Let's try this.
There it is.
Okay.
I see it.
So, yep, Reaper Destroyer right there.
That looks good.
You know, and then Incredible, and then the root hand over there.
I missed it first. There it is. Yep. Yep.
That's on my camera mount there. Yep. The ginger root hand.
I put that up in my fridge. My wife was like, "What the hell is this?" I was like, "It's too hard to explain, babe." I was like, "What's the ginger root hand?" I was like, "Just accept it.
Just roll with it. Just don't look at it directly. Just you know, corner your eye." Yeah. So yeah, man, the Reaper magnet fits perfectly right in there. That's great.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, man. See, Jojo Coon says Reaper Destroyer makes an appearance on the homage print by Shelby Robertson. Back Cobalt Death stalks us, and the Shifter to get the print for free.
That is very true, and that just launched Friday on Bancroft Show. We had them on Ott and Stuff for a tailgate show, and yeah, they've got a print that goes along with, if you back both of the campaign, the Cobalt and the Shifter, you get a free print of the it's an homage to X-Men. I can't remember the issue it was, but it's Days of Future Past X-Men, and it's got a whole bunch of comic skate characters.
Oh yeah,
on it.
yeah. I actually have that comic up on my wall, the original X-Men one. Yeah,
yeah, with Wolverine and Kitty Pryde or whatever. Yep. And so in the background, it's got like a ton of faces of comic skate characters. 141. There you go.
141. Yep.
Yeah.
See, Dojo's like he's on top of it.
Yep.
There you go.
They did a really good homage to that, drawn by Shelby Robertson. Looks awesome. And Reaper Destroyer is one of the characters that are on there, yes.
Hell yeah. That is awesome. Let me go ahead and flip my camera back. I am very excited about this, and now you can see the green screen. Look.
There it is.
See? It is isn't it glorious? Look at the hole in the green screen.
Hole
yes.
in it, yeah.
Thank you, kitties. I appreciate that. You're not supposed to try to hang from it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Virtual background. Ta-da! Look, movie magic. If OBS was working properly, could have the Reaper Destroyer up on the back while I sit here.
OBS. I need to look into that one day.
Yeah, you know, OBS is an interesting thing. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. Maybe I can turn on that camera and then turn on OBS. We'll see. We'll see if this works. You guys got a little bit more time to, to come up with some questions.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah. Boxers, boxers brief and boxer kind of guy. Boxer brief guy. Yeah.
The important questions,
anything.
clearly
the
important questions. All right, and turn the camera on. Hey, look at that. That's sort of happening.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, let me. Wow. See, it's picking up the green.
Yeah. Oh. Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. I can see that.
Wow. Well, that's a testament to its reflectiveness.
There you go.
I mean, look at that. Even with the green screen cutting it in and out, that still looks badass.
Commando?
Yeah.
Maybe in my pajama pants. Yeah. I never liked going commando like just with regular jeans. I was always very scared of like zipping something up. Like that's
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah.
you got to be careful about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's zippers bite. You gotta be careful.
Painful.
Very painful
to think about.
Can we get a copper holochrome next?
Yeah, so that's actually a good question. But so this is the last of this Ashcan that will be available before the campaign. So just a gold, just a silver. And there will be a version of the Ashcan available for the campaign, but all it's going to be is a black and white cover, and it's just going to be the first 6 pages of the book. All the extras that you get in these are not going to be available, and it's just going to be like a $5 add-on. So these are going to stay unique in themselves out there. So they will be like collectibles. So if you missed out on these and you just care about having the Ashcan, there will be a version available, but it just won't be as in-depth as these 2 versions are.
Right. But you'll still get to see the same artwork. It just won't have the extra bonus stuff.
Yeah, you won't have the sketches or the bios and like all that kind of stuff in there.
Yeah. Plus, you won't have the shiny, pretty, awesome cover.
Yeah.
That reflects my green screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see what the silver one does. It'll be all just like reflecting the green flawlessly.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that one's going to turn out. Yeah.
And obviously, same printer.
They're awesome for doing stuff like this. It's quick turnaround. They do great work. Good quality paper that they use. I think that they're going to be expanding a lot of the paper and stuff they're doing in the future. But like I said, they're a small printer, and they're recommended to me by Shelby Robertson, and they didn't do me wrong at all. They were fantastic to work with. They were fast with what they did, and the quality was fantastic. So Heroes and Villains, if you guys are looking to do something like I'm doing, they do great work. Check them out.
Awesome. Heroes and Villains.
Yep, Heroes and Villains. Now you have to type in like Heroes and Villains comic book printing, because there is a Heroes and Villains or Hero and Villain. It's very similar that pops up first, and it's like a t-shirt line or something like that. So that is not them.
That is not what you want. You
that
want
is not
the t-shirts.
Dojo said, how many issues with Reaper Destroyer be? Is this an ongoing series or limited story arc? The idea is to be an ongoing series. The first story arc is 6 issues, but I do have the ability, if I want, to tear it down to 4 issues if possible. Now, here's the thing. The reason why it was 6 issues originally was before I got into crowdfunding, this was supposed to be put this together and do a pitch to try to actually get picked up by an indie publisher. So this was set up as a 22-page book. And because of that, you had to the story that was involved. We had to expand the story to 6 issues. Now that I'm adding pages and making it bigger, I might be able to actually shrink that down to maybe 4 issues instead of 6, so it won't take as long to get out. That would remain to be seen. But like this book will probably be anywhere from 32 to 40 pages when I'm actually done with it. Whereas before it was 22 pages. So I'm tweaking a little bit of stuff, but I have to make sure that the story still flows well, and I'm not putting too much into one issue, than I was before. Which is one of the reasons why I brought Mark on to help out with that. But yeah, it's ongoing though. I've got like 25 issues planned in my head right now of story that we can do. So
nice.
Yeah. And plus I'm going to have other IPs. Plus I'm going to have other IPs as we go,
right.
Where I'm not going to do the art, but I definitely have other books I want to get out, as well.
Sure. Got other ideas that you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. As long as you keep doing the artwork for Reaper Destroyer, you can't start, doing something like this and then you remember how it was back in the day. You'd have like that good art team, and it'd be like, yeah, that's some good shit. And then, a few months down the road, or a few issues down the road, it's like, yeah, they're not on the art team isn't there anymore. It's like, damn it.
I'm planning on drawing this book for years to come. There are other IPs I'd like to get out there, and if I do any art, it's going to be like a handful of pages within the book, but then I'd have a main artist doing the majority of the work, but just so I could get my hands on my characters and just experience drawing them once. But that's probably
for sure
be about it.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, if you start with a certain artist and then you come in and do like, guest stuff, that's one thing. The story, we're used to that artist,
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to create. So, I come from the 90s. I have a big love for Image Comics, like the early Image Comics that was fantastic, just awesome, explosion. And I always liked the house kind of style. Now, when I say that, like if you look at Extreme Studios or Wildstorm or Top Cow, the artists that they bring in had a similar feel to the guys that ran the studio. It was unique, but it still kept like that feel. That's what I'm trying to do with Superior Press. Is if I bring in artists to help out on the books, I'm going to bring in somebody that has like a similar style to mine or a similar style to the style that I want represented in my comics.
Right,
so,
a house style.
Right, yeah, I'm definitely trying to create a house style within this. I don't have anybody I'm working with right now, but just down the line, that's what I'm thinking. So, like, I do have a character that's going to be coming out probably in the next couple of years. The next one I do is probably going to be a character called Dreadnought, and that's going to be, another big expansive story and a one that I'm bringing in a writer and an artist to help out. So I want to expand. I definitely want to expand as fast as I can, but I want to do it the right way as well and make sure I'm getting the books out when I'm saying I'm getting them out.
Oh yeah. Keeping to a regular, keeping to the schedule that you set for yourself. That way people aren't sitting around wondering where their book is at.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of guys that do multiple books, like Mark for one. Mark puts out like 4 books a year. And what's cool about that is that you've got something coming out that will fill that time while you're waiting for the other title to come out. And that's kind of what I would like to do is like if I have Reaper Destroyer and then another book would come out and that would occupy you for the next time that Reaper Destroyer comes out again.
Oh yeah.
And so on and so forth. If I can, like I want to create a universe. Like that's the whole thing. I don't want to just have one book or 2 books. I want to have a universe. I want characters crossing over. There's a lot of things I would like to do in the future, but it all starts here. So
hell yeah. All starts with the first step and the first Ashcan. It's gonna reflect the hell out of my green screen, but I don't care. It's a fucking, it's a beautiful
It still comes
book.
off pretty cool though.
Yeah. Yep. You guys hit Joe up if you want one of them, because you want one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, they're up through Monday. Just hit me up if you want them, and we'll work it out. And it's pretty painless. And I'm trying to get them out by the end of March.
Nice.
All the head sketches are sold out though. Those went real fast. I can't take too many of them, other I'm going to be doing nothing but that. So
you'll be stuck doing those until you launch the campaign.
Exactly.
Now, are you launching the campaign, or are you launching the sign up?
So I'm launching the campaign in April. The sign up is going to be launching here pretty soon. I'm waiting for. There are some pages being colored right now. I wanted to have some colored pages for the sign up page.
Right.
So I'm waiting for those to come back. I'm hoping I'm having them pretty soon because I wanted to release the sign-up sheet by the end of February was the original idea. So now I'm trying to decide if they're not ready by that time. Do I want to go ahead and launch the sign-up anyway and just be what it is? Because I would like a good 2 months to promote,
Sure.
And then, because it'll be at least hot in everybody's minds, and then we go and launch in April. So
Sure.
I'm kind of working that out right now. We'll see. But I keep saying it's going to be within a couple of weeks. I want it to come out in a couple of weeks so I can start just getting it out there and getting, the sign up going. So we'll see.
Right. Well, I mean, getting the sign up. If you're definitely going in March, if you're definitely launching in April, what month are we in? We're in February. Yeah. If you're definitely launching in February, then you want to get that sign up as soon as possible. You're definitely launching then. I mean, if your launch date is malleable, then maybe you can wait until the colored pages are done. But I mean, if you're launching then, get your sign up there now.
Yeah, it's like I'll definitely have for the actual launch. I'll definitely have colored pages and previews and stuff like that, so that the page looks good.
Right.
But the sign up, like I've been seeing so many other people doing, in the past, I saw some sign up pages where it was just like, that's what it was. You went there was like a blurb, a background picture, but now like there's all these,
well, they have like the four pictures. Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh shit. Like, I can't just do something dull now. Like,
right. I can't just do nothing here.
Yeah. So if I get those color pages in time, I'll have some color pages for the first time for people to see. Otherwise, I might still just go with some black and whites, and just it'll be what it is. But I got to get the mailing list out here soon,
Yes,
so I can
for sure.
launch at the end of April. Now, I will say that I'm going to hold out the right to push the launch back if I have to. So just if things aren't working out right, and I need to do it, I'll do it. But I really want to launch at the end of April and just get this thing going. And just get rolling on it right now. So
hell yeah. Get it rolling, get it out there, get it into people's hands. I mean, this is just the first taste of getting this out here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm extremely excited and hell of nervous to get this going. But sure. Like I'm like, let's do it. Let's get it rolling, and let's get it out. As soon as we can. But like I'm aiming right now to get it out next year, so I can get the entire year to get the book done, to get everybody I have working on it. Because here's the thing, I'm working with guys that work in the industry. So it's not like working with other comic creators or working with guys myself that this is what you do. There is schedules that they have to work around to do the book as well. So I need to make sure that they've got the time to do what they need to do. So it's going to be a little bit, but I'm going to be honest with how long I'm making the book when we launch it, like when the turnaround is supposed to be. So, and I want to put it out far enough to where we can get it done. And if I can get it done early, that'd be great. You don't want
to have to rush. You don't want to have to, you don't have to sacrifice any kind of quality. You don't want to feel like you're rushing the people that you're working with either.
Yeah, exactly.
You've put how much time into getting this thing rolling? I mean, why rush it now?
Right. And my biggest thing is, I know that there's a huge thing about late books over the last year or so going on. And I don't want to contribute to that. But at the same point, if I'm asking you to spend $25 on this book, I want to make sure that when you get it and you read it, that it's damn worth it. That the quality is going to be one of those things where, I've got a little bit of an ego. I support everybody. I'm not in competition with anyone, but I do have an ego that I want, like, when you read my book, I want you to be like, this is the best looking book I've seen. Whether that's true or not, as far as who I'm, putting books out, that's what I want you to your experience to be,
Exactly.
So, like,
when you're reading that's what I want you to feel. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's good. I think healthy competition is a great thing when it comes to this stuff, because that means you're going to put your all into a book. And somebody else is going to do that, and the readers are going to benefit from it, because you're going to get really, really good quality, and nobody's going to be trying to just push whatever they can out because they want to do it. And my thing is, like, I want you to have industry style or standard books. Like, that's it. Like, I didn't get into making comic books to not have it look its absolute best.
Yeah, if you're going to do it right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Looks fantastic.
Thank you.
It does.
Thank you.
Yes, it does. It's a beautiful book. Cannot wait to see the full final product. Looking forward to diving into this the little Ashcan here. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I absolutely love that it is actually Ashcan sized. It's not like an Ashcan that is, a full-size comic. No, it's an actual Ashcan-sized Ashcan, and I love that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. And that was a debate. That was a debate going on, because I remember when I first started talking about doing the Ashcan, it was like almost like 50-50. I would have people in our chat saying, make it regular size because it's too small to read, with the font and everything, blah, blah, blah. Nah. And I was just like, all right, I guess I can understand that. But because I had such a love for Ashcans, like, it never bothered me that they were small. Like, I could always read them and you make everything out. And Sean did his regular size, which came out great. It looks great.
Sure.
But I was just like, I really, really want to do like a traditional Ashcan size. And I'm glad I did, because people seem to really, really like the fact that it's a smaller style book than the actual size of the book.
Yeah. Well, it makes it unique, and that was the thing about Ashcans back in the day. is that they were basically laser Xeroxed onto fucking copy paper, folded in half, stapled together. Then you got like a thicker cardstock cover that is also Xerox copied, and all stapled, saddle stitched together, and then you hand the fuckers out. And so that's what these are. And I I love the fact that it is actual Ashcan size.
Yeah,
and,
I think Sean and I talked about this. I think we're going to do an Ashcan for every book that we put out, and it's always going to be this kind of DM campaign. So it's just going to be something unique that we do with the Ashcans, and because we want to keep them as collectibles. Like they're going to be limited runs. Like whoever backs them, I'm going to overprint a little bit so I make sure we have stuff for damaged books, and then whatever's left over, I'll put up at a higher price to buy, but that's it. Those books will never be printed again. Those golds will never get printed again. The silvers will never get printed again. Maybe the black and whites that we do for the actual campaign will be something we repeat, but then again, you're not getting all the extras, that you get with this.
There we go. There, now you can see it.
Oh, there it is.
There. See, now you can see it. Look at how shiny.
And I gotta give a shout out to Jimmy Reyes. Did the inks on the cover. So the
Jimmy's
interior is done by Weems and Bat,
man.
but Jimmy Reyes did the cover. He did a fantastic job. Brought it out great. Like these are the 3 best inkers I've worked with, and well, I'm gonna throw Shelby in there. He's not in the book, but I've worked with Shelby on some stuff where he's inked some of my work, and he did an awesome job too. So,
and you working with some cream of the crop artists here, my friend. Like
dude,
seriously.
And like I said, like
Shelby, Jimmy, Matt. Damn, son.
That's been my thing. Like, because I can ink my own work if I wanted to, but I like the collaboration working with talented people to, especially inkers, to bring their flavor to my pencils. And then what comes out is a collaboration of the 2 artists together. Yeah. To me, that's comic books. Everybody I've ever followed, whether it's Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, whoever, has had a fantastic inker, and what's come out has been a collaboration of those 2 artists, and it's been that's comics to me. Jim Lee, Scott Williams, Silvestri Bat, Silvestri Weems, so on and so forth. And I wanted that. I wanted that feel. I wanted to have a professional inker ink my work because I wanted to see what they would bring to it. And I've had I've had some really cool conversations with Bat over the phone, and we'll just talk about stuff. And that was one of the things we talked about. I was like, back in the day, it was cool to see an inker take a young artist and bring them along, because the inkers would help out a young artist when it came to, cross hatching or rendering or shadows or stuff like that. That's why you would see guys like David Finch and Michael Turner grow so fast, because they would have talent behind them. Oh yeah. So I was like, I want to make sure I bring that same kind of talent behind me, so that, I'm not a perfect artist. I have weaknesses in my stuff that I'm working on. Sure. But I want to bring in a talented guy that can help out with those weaknesses, because I do want the book to look the best it can look, So what you're seeing is my art. I could show you black and whites, I could show you pencils, and we could break down the tiny little things that they've changed, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I can see that, Right. But all in all, it's still my art, and that's what good inkers do,
Yes, exactly.
Professional ones that know what they're doing.
Yeah, and professional ones that know what they're doing. Yeah. Especially if you've got something there. Now, if they're having to repair, a bunch of shit, if they're basically doing finishes, for shitty breakdowns, there's only so much they can do.
Exactly. Yeah, which I don't think the guys I work with would take that on, because that's a lot of work. Yeah, that's a lot of work for an inker to do, to be an actual finisher, and then they're pretty much drawing the book.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a lot of heavy lifting at that point. You're doing more of the heavy lifting of the book. I mean, not saying that inkers don't do any heavy lifting, because like talented inkers, like you say, they really make a piece fucking sing.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, just add the contrast, the line work, the line quality. Oh yeah, I mean there's inkers are crucial, especially good inkers. Some people that ink their own stuff, it's not bad, but I mean, a professional inker that knows what the fuck they're doing. Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah, it's night and day, unless, because inking is a completely different form of art. So artists like myself, I can ink my work and I can, give it a style, but it's completely different than when like Bat or Weems inks my work, because their work has a crisp, smooth feel to their line weight and everything they do, you know. And mine is a little bit more from an artist, you know, like
Right.
the way I would do it, you know, like it still looks good, but compared to what they do, it's night and day difference, you know. But it's
Yeah.
still me, and that's what I love about it, you know. It's the same thing like when I see Shelby do my work. I'm like, dude, that was so fucking awesome. I was like, it's still me, but I it just looks polished, you know. It looks professional. Like
Hmm.
that's comic books to me, you know.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! That beautiful amalgamation of the two,
Yep.
the gestalt of the two, as it
And then
were.
throw colors on top, and it's just like that's what I love so much about creating. And that's, I think, the biggest thing going back to when I was a teenager. What I loved about comic books, loved the art. You know, it's just, especially when I learned the behind the scenes, you know, and learned that there was pencils and there was inks and there was colors. And when you
Right.
saw that all come together and you read it on the page, it's just, there's something very romantic about it. Like you romanticized, you know, as a kid. You know, it's just
Oh, for
completely,
sure.
you know, always sucked into it. And yeah, I just love it, man. I have a great love for the art style of what comic books are and what they should be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's an amazing medium. It's an amazing
Hmm.
medium to tell a story. I mean, it doesn't just have to be superheroes. I mean, that's where it built the bulk of its audience,
Yeah.
certainly. But there are so many things that went beyond that. I mean, look at the Ninja Turtles.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
they came out of the vein of superheroes.
Yep.
They're very much in the line of the pulps that the
Right.
superheroes came from. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
the crow is kind of in that same vein, you know. Went back, I mean, the it's kind of like the pulp spawned the comics in a way, and then, you know, they went back to the pulps, and it just kind of keeps going back. So we got dark superheroes, you know. And
Right.
so I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't have to always be that. It's a medium for telling stories. You can tell any kind of story. You can tell
Yeah.
spy stories. I mean, last week Inkspot and I did Danger Girl. You know,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Danger Girl was fun to look at.
so much fun to read. Like, that's such an exciting, kinetic, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
artwork on the page. You know, it's just fun. You know, beautiful storytelling. And that's one of the things I remembered going through the book again was, you know, just how good the storytelling was. Not just, yeah, it's very pretty, you know, and the chicks
Right.
are
Right.
hot and whatnot, but
Right.
the action, the suspense, the characterization, the acting of the characters, like the facial expressions, the hands and whatnot. I mean, it's all there, you know, and it's all good, you know.
Yeah.
So I
It's
mean, that's beauty of
that's
our
what I love
medium, man.
about. That's what I love about the comic books. You know, it's like if people don't like understand or know about it or have a passion for it, they can look at it just like, yeah, it's a book with a bunch of pictures, you know, like.
Sure.
But um if you know, it's so much more, because there's like so much
Mm-hmm.
storytelling in the art. And I fell in love with like the sequential storytelling, you know. There's some people out there that love to do pinups, and pinups are fun, but I really do enjoy telling a story from panel to panel,
Oh yeah.
and making it come alive, you know. Like that is what is unique about comic books. You know, it started in the funny papers with comic strips and stuff like that, and just now we got, you know, graphic novels, you know, 100-page graphic novels and stuff. And like you said, it could be anything.
Yeah.
I prefer like superhero sci-fi kind of stuff, but
Sure.
there there are comic books of anything nowadays. And if you have an artist that knows what they're doing and can do the format well, they can tell a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful story through the characterization of their facial expressions, the way characters move,
Yep.
backgrounds, just everything. You know,
Oh yeah.
it's to me, it is, you know, it's up there with movies, you know, with entertainment wise, because there are things movies do that's just magic, right? You can't touch it. But comic books are an unlimited budget of special effects.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take it to any place, universe, you know, space, uh, wherever. You can take a comic book anywhere, anywhere you want to go, and tell that story. And it's
Right.
all in the mind of the artist, the writer. And to me, that is it's special. It's special, and I don't think it should ever be lost on people of the
Well,
medium that
it's a
we have for
unique
that.
magic, man.
Hmm.
Yeah. 100%. You know, there are certain things that you can do in a comic book that you can't necessarily do in film. I mean, you can do it in a certain way, but it does not. Things have a certain impact the way you do them, just the way, you know. I guess an order of operations, or as Feline has taught me, the way you make food, the way you layer food together changes the way it comes out.
Oh, there you go.
You know, a story, if you tell it a certain way, it will have this impact.
Right.
If you change the way that story is told, like going from comic to film, it changes the way that impact hits, unless you figure out how to translate it so it impacts the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yep.
They're similar but different. You know, similar but different mediums, TV, movies, and comics.
And you know, a good comic can spark all the right emotions. I mean, I've cried reading a comic book before. I mean, I remember when Superman died, because it was just so well told by the writing and the art. You know, Dan Jurgens, the last issue where he actually, the death of Superman, Dan Jurgens did a fantastic job of showing the emotion of the characters in, you know, just in the faces and just 100%. The stakes of everything, that I found myself getting caught up into the story. And then just feeling the emotion of the final death scene. You know, like I didn't sob or anything, but it was just like one of those things where it got me. It felt, you know, I felt it.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I could go on and on about just how awesome comic books are. And I hope that, you know, it sucks what's going on in the mainstream. We all know it. We talk about it to death, but the indie scene, I hope, is really the place that's bringing it back. And I hope there's a lot of attention, and not just by people who want to make comic books and put them out there, but I hope there's a lot of attention by people that want to make comic books, do the study on how to make books, you know,
put quality out there.
Put quality out there. Exactly. Yeah.
People that are here for the love of it and for the love of putting out good books.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah. Because we need it. We need it.
We do, man.
You know, and we're getting a lot of it. So, you know, hats off to all the creators out there that's putting some great stuff, some great alternatives out there on for us to read. So it's a good time to have your book out there in the ether right now. So
100%. It's a good time to be a creator and to be a creative, and to, you know, to if you're looking for it and you know where to look, you know, it's a good time to be an indie comic book collector.
Yeah.
You know, this is
100%.
I've said it multiple times, but this honestly reminds me of the 80s comic scene. You know, like I said earlier, this is the essence of like hustle, like get an audience, build up the hype about it, and then you release an Ashcan to build up even more hype, give people a taste of the book that's to come, and now your campaign is coming out. Or, you know, back in the day, it would be, and the full issue's coming out. And, you know, then there'll be the next month, you already know issue 2 is printed and ready to rock and roll, you know, whatever. So it's changed a bit because of the means that we have, the
For
means
sure.
of printing and the means of contacting our audience now.
Yeah.
But it's the same hustle. You know?
And I think what it is you have people that grew up on that, you know, are reaching, you know, I just turned 40. You know, you got a lot of people in their late 30s and 40s that are now trying to make books and put that stuff out, and they have the same attitude. And I think that's one of the things that I see a lot with people my age that are creating comics is you're carrying the attitude that you had that made you feel special as a kid, and you're wanting to duplicate that and put that back out. Where I think that aspect of the industry has been lost because you have a lot of people that did not grow up in those times, or if they did, they weren't reading comic books, so they didn't carry that same kind of passion into getting into the industry, and they're in there for all the different wrong reasons, I guess you could say. Yeah. And now, you know, you have the indie scene flooded with a lot of younger people. I'm not, you know, definitely a lot of younger people, but there are a lot of people my age that's kind of just bringing that flavor. And yeah, that's what we're, you know, I think that's, you know, I saw Dojo or Brian say, you know, it's an indie renaissance. And I think it really is, because you have guys carrying that passion and want to duplicate that passion and put it back out there for people. So it's an exciting time, I think, you know, to be a comic book creator's collector, reader, fan of comics in
100%.
general.
You know, I mean, it I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like finding that indie comic for the first time, or being introduced to like that indie comic that was off the beaten path for what you usually read. For me, that was I thought Vertigo was indie, and then I got introduced to Poison Elves, and I was like, oh shit,
right?
This is what they're talking about when they say indie fucking comic book.
Yep.
You know? And I was just like, oh damn. And that just expanded my horizon to all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So excuse me, kitty. I need my footrest. Thank you. Every time I move my foot, just an iota, the cat will take over the entirety of the footrest.
Nice.
Unbelievable. All right, so Hero and Villain Designs, is that
Heroes and Villains, type in, if you're looking it up, type in Heroes and Villains comic book printing, because I think that's
they're the first one to come up when I did that. I'll bring up their website here.
All right.
See if you tell me if this is,
if it's the right one.
If it's the right one. Because I would like to send people their way if they're doing a good job.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep, that's it. They do great work there.
I will grab the URL here so everybody can jump on that. If you need quality books printed up, let's send these good people some business.
And I would recommend,
fantastic job on this book.
Yeah, they did a great job. I'm so happy with it. And I would recommend, if there are creators out there and you're watching this, you want to reach out to them, go down to where they have the phone number and call them, because I feel like it's better communication instead of sending an email.
Sure.
Because I got through them a lot faster when I called them.
Look, stickers, see, playbill.
Oh yeah, they do quite a bit. Not just comic book printing. They do a lot of different stuff.
Tarot
cards,
comic
book printing is one of the things they do. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Die cut sticker sale. Whoop, whoop.
Yep.
Ha, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they're comic book fans. So they're really cool to talk to.
They're nerds, just like us.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, and they do quick good work. So I highly recommend them for small runs. I mean, I don't know, giant runs. I don't know how big of a run they take, because the thing I like about them is you just need a minimum of 25. So they go low print runs.
No kidding.
Yeah, and the bigger printers aren't going to do that. You have to have 500 or something as a minimum, or some shit like that, or 100 as a minimum. So if you're just putting something out like an Ashcan, that's going to be a low print run.
Yep.
These guys are the place to go, because you do 25, 50, 100, whatever it is, and they'll be able to turn it around. So
that's awesome. Excellent. Heroandvillaindesigns.com is the website. Go check them out. Send them some business, because they did a fantastic job on our boy's book here.
Hell yeah!
And let's go ahead and bring this up one more time. One more again. Let me get my head out of the way. Look at his book. Look at his beautiful, gorgeous book. Let me not cut myself on the knife here. Man, look at his shiny. Look at his shiny.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a great job.
It turned out really, really good. Yep, I'm gonna have to wipe my fingerprints off of it. Thankfully, they seem to come off pretty easily.
Yeah, there you go. Just take a little bit of a smooth towel or something, go over it. Right.
Oh yeah, I've got I've got one of these over here.
Yeah, whatever you clean your screen with, like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are good for it. Won't scratch it up.
There we go. See. We maintain the shiny. we wipe the fingerprints off of, and then once I read this, I will put it away, and never touch it again. Yeah. It's a beautiful book, man. Congratulations,
thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Seriously,
thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks for coming to hang out, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. You know, when you launch a campaign, you know, we'll have to have you on for a new book, Who Dis, and then we can go, you know, in depth on the character, your inspirations for the character, and all that. You know, how long the book is going to be, etc. This is just kind of a taste and like a hangout and a chance for people to you know, jump in and get you know, get this second chance, second printing, because you gonna be sad if you miss it. Just saying. I'm just saying.
I dig it. And yeah, once I actually start getting the campaign out there, I will be talking more about the story and everything. So, but right now I'm just keeping it on the wraps a little bit because there are so much that you can get in the Ashcan, and that's going to be out before the actual campaign. So I want to make sure if you back it, you get to read it first and know what's going on first.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. Thank you all so much for coming to hang out. Really do appreciate you being here. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you being here. And
thank you for having me.
I think I'm going to go read a comic book, y'all.
There you go.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you for coming. And if I can find the actual, which one is it? Oh, we'll just use this one. Later.
Seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?